What is going on, everybody? It is your two main men of the hour.
Hi, I'm Renee, and this is the one and only John Borba. Join the SOL movement. Like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at SOL Speaking Out Loud. We appreciate all the love, and we hope that y'all continue to join us.
Yes,
we got a good show in for y'all today, so hey, Johnny, let them know.
So, we're going to be recapping week one's outstanding performers. We're going to be talking about also the biggest disappointments from week one. And we're going to get into a little game a little later on in the show. And then we're going to touch up a little bit on some fantasy football for week two and what to expect. So,
Awesome. Well, let's not waste any time.
Let's
get right to it.
Yes, sir.
High performers of the week. My award goes to the one and only Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. What a show he put on, man. I mean, he didn't have to throw the ball or anything, but he did have some hell of a play calling. For me, man, Dallas has some potential. Offensively, it's crazy. I think a lot of people were questioning Kellen Moore being hired the offensive coordinator. For me, I was hoping Tony Romo would come out of the booth and hopefully come call some plays for us, but they're obviously paying him pretty good. But hey, Kellen Moore has put on a stout show. Dak had 4 touchdowns, had a perfect passer rating, and you just can't beat that. Washington better watch out. And the kid is 30 years old, man. The youngest head coach right now, is Sean McVay.
Yeah.
And we've seen what he's been able to put up with his crazy offensive scheme. So I'm really looking forward to what Kellen Moore has in week 2.
Yeah, I agree with you. It pains me to say it, but I think the biggest thing that we took from the Cowboys game is that their offense is not predictable like how it's been. That it's huge, and I think having a guy in the locker room that literally played was Dak's backup is huge. I feel like some players know their teammates better than a coach knows their teammates.
Yeah,
than their players, and I think that's huge benefit. Like it's huge, and he knows his strengths, he knows his weaknesses, and I think they're only like Dak's. Performing like this, you might have to get paid.
Yeah.
So and Jerry Jones better make some room because he might have to pay him that $40 million.
Yeah, maybe.
Man,
but like we said last week though, the only way Dak gets paid $40 million is if he brings Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
and it's still a long ways to go. You know, that's pretty much a warm up test against a soft secondary. So you know, it's gonna get harder. People are gonna adjust, watch film, but. It looked solid week one.
Oh yeah, for all my Cowboy fans out there, man, ride the train, baby, and whoever wants to join it, jump on in. But who do you got as high performers? As your high performer?
My highest performer of the week of week one was the Minnesota Vikings, of course, and I'm saying that because all off season we tried to improve our offensive line. We got Dalvin Cook healthy. We drafted another running back in the 3rd round, Alex Madison, and he played really good also. And when you run the ball, Mike Zimmer has been preaching. He wants balance. He wants balance in the offense. Balance in the offense. When you run the ball 70+% of the game, and have the success that we did, that's showing that Mike Zimmer and that team wanted to prove a point that they're going to be a balanced team. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 10 times, 8 of 10, 90-something yards, 1 touchdown to Thielen. And that defense, first play of the game, Anthony Barr gets a sack. Like, he's ready to play this year. They're the dark horse of the NFC. I feel like they're going to be. They were a team that nobody really talked about from this past season. It was a huge disappointment, and I think it's going to be a huge season. We've helped Kirk Cousins in every way possible, from the O-line to drafting a tight end. Another running back, Dalvin Cook's healthy. It's everything's looking up in the right direction. And I almost forgot, Anthony Harris, NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
What a game, huh?
Learn that man's name. Who's that dude? Follow that man on Twitter. Who's that dude? Anthony Harris. Making a name for himself. 2 interceptions, one on Julio, fighting for the ball over the middle of the field, and he wins that battle.
He
And then,
had a bad game.
yeah, awful game. We'll get into that in a second. And picked off Matt Ryan in the back of the end zone. You're gonna learn this guy's name, and he is such a huge upgrade from Sendejo. He's so much. He's like another Harrison Smith in a way when it comes to instincts and just being around the football. He's always around the football. That's what I noticed. He's always making the right plays. And to get to your point, Julio was locked up, and it wasn't just Rhodes alone. I was watching. Harrison Smith was over the top. They disguised their coverages a little bit, but when Rhodes was in the game, I think he only caught he caught 6 passes, 11 targets. He had 1 touchdown at the end of the game against, I think, Chris Boyd, because Rhodes wasn't even on him. But other than that, he was locked up, and I'm excited as a Vikings fan because
for sure.
So
what's your take on the good old Lamar Jackson? Put on a show, man. He put on a show.
Yeah.
Put a whooping on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
A very terrible Miami Dolphins. I think I read that 22 players on that team requested a trade after that loss. That's embarrassing.
That's
as an
embarrassing.
Organization. But man, there was a lot of questions around Lamar Jackson as far as him being able to throw the ball. Do you feel like you should jump on that hype train, or is it a little too early for that?
I think Lamar Jackson's Week 1 performance was definitely, it was a warm up. He can throw the ball, no doubt about it. He can sling that. He can sling the ball. It's just there wasn't a safety in the middle of the field half those throws. Like I don't know what the Dolphins were doing. It was just so sad. But this is by far going to be I'm predicting this is going to be his best game of the year. I wouldn't get too hyped. You know what to expect. They're going to be a run-heavy team when it comes down to it. When it comes to playing a decent defense, a good team, a contending team, they're going to go back to the roots and run the ball. Yes, it gives Lamar Jackson confidence and everything like that, but I don't see that lasting the entire year at all. So, it's going to turn back into a run-heavy team.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't get too excited about it. I know I was on Twitter quite a bit on Sunday, and there was a lot of people. My buddy Easy he's a Baltimore fan though, so he was real excited about that. But what the scary part is they didn't use Mark Ingram as much as what they're going to start using him. So
also all their other backs too. Yeah. There's going to be so many. The thing is, there's going to be so many different components into that running game. It's not just going to be Lamar Jackson handing off to Mark Ingram. You got all these other backs that are going to impact the game as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got another kind of, I wouldn't say easy week, but they got Arizona coming to Baltimore. That should be a little bit more interesting. I don't see a blowout happening. I think there's still too much hype around Kyle Murray. I know he had that comeback this weekend, which was impressive, but
he didn't look very good in that first half.
He didn't look very good at all for the first 3 quarters. So against a Baltimore defense, you got to show up the whole game, or else we're going to see another repeat of Week 1. But I do Lamar Jackson. He can play. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of being consistent. That's something that he lacked last year. So if they stick to the running game, he should be fine. They should get into the playoffs and more than likely win that division. But it's early, so don't want to jump on that prediction. But they should, based off of Week 1, Baltimore has a cruise to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But hey, for me though, off of Kellen Moore, man, that Drew Brees comeback, huh? That was nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that makes you question the Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees debate as far as who's the best in the game right now. They both only have 1 Super Bowl, so when you start looking at numbers, Drew, they definitely do go head to head.
Yeah. In the
So,
in the NFC, as far as the best quarterbacks in the NFC
yeah.
that have proven themselves over these 10 years or so. I thought it was also bad defensive management, play calling in those last 6
Oh, yeah,
seconds,
they
7
went
seconds.
prevent.
They went in prevent defense when you should probably read a little scouting report on the kicker and his type of like that dude's got a leg, Will Lutz,
That's for sure.
and to leave the middle of the field open like that, it was just bad play calling on defense. It wasn't good.
You know
And
what's
they
crazy?
could have easily won that game.
When I was watching the game,
Texans.
the commentator was tripping out. He's like, "Why are they in a prevent defense? Like, some teams should legit have someone just listening to the game to the booth to hear what the commentators are saying."
And it's true.
Because that was stupid.
It's
man.
like when I guess coming from a sense, those guys are experiencing it live. Like they have 25. They got so many seconds to make up a play call, to do this, to do that, to get the right personnel on the field. It's just so much probably going through their heads, and then you just make a mistake like that. It's just a mental mistake from the play caller, from the defense. It's just wasn't a good ending.
That's just stuff you don't do against a great quarterback.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
So, but Drew Brees definitely topped the show for me. That was a good way to end that game. It was impressive. Yep. But so disappointments. I can't say disappointments without saying Steelers in it. For some reason, I just can't say it. But I mean, there's a lot of disappointments this weekend. The Steelers, Atlanta, my good old boy Baker Mayfield. That was a tough one. I had a lot of hype on him on Sunday. But who as a player did you have that really slacked it off this weekend?
Player wise, oh man, I think I wouldn't go player wise. I would go coaching wise. I would pick Cleveland because there was so many penalties. There was Greg Robinson, the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
He kicked a guy in the head. That's just
Got ejected.
he got ejected. That the coach. That's just showing. Freddie Kitchens. That's just showing right there why he's never been a coach before. Like it's just he's got an undisciplined team, plenty of penalties. There's just stuff. There's so many areas they got to work on, and they're not awful. I don't expect them to be awful like that all year. So it's just you need to discipline your players. You need to get disciplined when it comes to before the play, during the play, and after the play. It really comes down to the coaching and that coaching staff, how they're gonna. Players can only do so much. Also, it comes down to coaching as well. And if you don't have a good coach, you don't have the right staff. I feel like it's just all going to trickle down into the gameplay. So that was my disappointment, was Freddie Kitchens, which I expected.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
who was your disappointing team or player even?
I didn't have much expectations for Washington. I expected that game to be a blowout.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were up, I believe it was 17.
I think so. 17 or 20 to 0.
17-0, and they blew that lead.
That's disappointing.
Got beat down the field twice to Deshaun Jackson. I mean, the guy could still run, but Jesus Christ, the guy's old already. And to let that happen twice and have them come back, I mean, that says a lot. That's a red flag to Case Keenum. Question marks.
Yeah.
Are they going to bring
how
in
long
a first
is
rounder?
Yeah, how long is his leash?
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think Eli. Granted, he was playing a really stout defense, but I said the leash was short on Eli Manning, and I still think so. And I don't think they put up enough points to make an argument. But I'm seeing about week 3, they're bringing in the rookie, and
I think so.
They're starting that rebuilding stage, especially with Sterling Shepard getting hurt.
Yeah, another one of my disappointments from week 1, and now week 2. They just played on Thursday night. We're recording this after the Thursday night game. Was the Panthers? The Panthers are now 0-2. Believe it or not, I think their coaching staff is on the hot seat. Ron Rivera is on the hot seat.
Oh, for sure.
Cam Newton, there's questions about that. It's not looking good. It looks like the Saints are in full control of that division, and I don't think there's going to be a wild card team that comes out of that division. So the Panthers got to start winning, or there might be some changes in the coaching staff. That's it. It's 0-2. It's just not a good start.
I think Rivera and Cam Newton are playing for their jobs. Cam Newton, not necessarily.
I'd say more so Rivera
released, but I would start looking into getting something for him. But man, what a tough outing.
Yeah.
Especially against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is not. No, Jameis Winston's got to go. He's got to go. I mean,
his last hope is Bruce Arians. That's why they brought him to help develop Jameis Winston. He thought he could help get his full potential, and we'll find out. It's still early, but I mean, they pulled off a win against the Panthers, which they only lost by 3 last week to the Rams.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not that bad of a team. It's just it might be
the play calling.
I don't know,
but Christian McCaffrey's. I mean, he's a game changer.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how that
either.
offense is lacking.
I think it's coming down to Cam Newton on offense, on the offensive side.
Yeah. But he hasn't been the same since his
injury
MVP season.
Yeah, and that shoulder injury, I don't know if that's still bothering him or maybe he's just, I don't know, if he's not comfortable with the play calling, if he's not comfortable with the coaching, I don't know.
Cam Newton's probably too worried about what hat he's going to wear to the post game.
What his outfit's going to look like.
Yeah, that's probably what's going on there. Because it seems like all these prima donnas are not showing out this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see where Carolina goes. That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to sleep on them.
Yeah.
When you look at that schedule and Carolina's on it, you're not gonna say, all right, this is a dub.
And you don't think in that division, you know that the Falcons, they're gonna be at least a competing team. They might make a playoff push. Saints are in full control. You still aren't sure what you're gonna get with the Buccaneers, but there could be upside depending how Jameis progresses later in the season. So it's going to be a tough.
Do you have hope for Jameis?
Maybe a little bit, just because Bruce Arians is a good offensive coordinator. He's a good coach. That's my only hope. But I'd just give him this year if he can't.
He's got to go.
Possibly.
Sure.
He'll be a good backup.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go somewhere. At least out of Tampa. So, we promised you guys a little game. The game that we have here is called Panic or Slow Your Roll. So, the concept of the game is, well, should the fans panic, or do we need to push the brake and slow your roll? So, Borba, let me get your take on Steeler fans. Should the Steeler fans, based off of Week 1 performance, should they panic or slow their roll?
Steeler fans should slow their roll. I don't even think they should be panicking. I think the Steelers are going to be a good team, possibly a playoff team. They got good coaching in place. It's their first game. I'm sure the pressure was on them. How are they going to perform without Le'Veon and Antonio Brown? But you're also playing the Patriots. Patriots are a front runner in the AFC. It's possibly them and the Chiefs, that might meet up in the AFC Championship. But, I mean, I really don't think they should panic. I think they're going to get better as the year progresses. Their defense is going to get better as the year progresses. It's just a matter of time and when everybody starts clicking. So, that's what I think.
Man. I hate to say it, but push that panic button. It's panic Week 1. It's over. It's over. Big Ben, I doubt he makes it through the season. He's going to get smacked up every single week, man. Every single week. I know Juju's facing an injury right now. He's a game time decision, but he's more than likely to play. But he didn't look very good as the number 1. There's a lot of hands on him, a lot of double teams, and he didn't look very comfortable. So
yeah, and they really don't have many options.
Yeah,
they got young wide receivers. Young wide receivers.
James Conner's no Le'Veon Bell. So,
no, yeah.
I mean, he's good.
You
but
could
he's
very
not
easily
great.
be right.
Oh, yeah.
So
And like I said, I don't see Big Ben making it through the whole season. Um, no, I hate to say it, man, but Steeler fans, you gotta panic. You gotta panic. We might see good old Oklahoma State quarterback sooner than what Steeler fans want to see him.
Possibly.
He's probably coming in, man. I could see him coming in. Another blowout in week 2, and that locker room is gonna be chattering worse than what it was with AB and Le'Veon Bell there.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised on that one.
I feel like it's a good culture. I don't think they're gonna hang their heads. I think they're still gonna fight. It's just gonna be rough. It could be rough.
And what we're gonna find out is,
Yeah.
was it really Le'Veon and AB, or is Big Ben the one that's the actual drama queen there? But I hate to say it, Steeler fans, hit the panic button. Well, next one that I got for you was my biggest disappointment of the week, and I actually called this one, was going to be the Atlanta Falcons. They're following a trend. You know, they had a really crappy season last year, and it seems that Super Bowl bug is just not getting off. It keeps sucking them dry. So
you think it's a panic?
Atlanta fans, yeah, I'm definitely calling a panic in Atlanta. You know, they got no Chick-fil-A on Sundays, and Matty Ice is ice cold. So I'm calling a panic there, but you tell me, Atlanta, panic or slow your roll?
For Atlanta, I'm gonna also say panic because of the division that they're in. Chris Lindstrom is already on IR. Matt Ryan, it's just not clicking. I don't know.
And that offense is loaded.
Yeah.
It's not like they have a crappy offense.
Yeah.
The defense was playing decent.
I would.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
The offense just couldn't put up any points.
Yeah, and you go into week 2, you're gonna play the Eagles. If they start 0-2, it's gonna be really hard to bounce back and possibly make a playoff push at the end of the season. So because the Panthers are gonna be a decent team. I feel like they could fight over a wild card spot, but will there be one? I feel like the wild card's gonna come in the NFC East and the NFC North. I feel like those are the 2 wild card divisions. So that's why both NFC South teams should be panicking right now.
Yeah, most definitely. And Sunday Night Football against Philadelphia. Good thing is they're at home. They're not on the road, so they get a chance to regroup. I hope Atlanta proves me wrong. I really do. Because that offense is, on paper, it looks beautiful. You know? But Philly's coming into town, and that dog pound is pounded, man. That second half, that team looked like the Philadelphia Eagles that a lot of people are used to watching now. So, and when Carson Wentz starts clicking on that deep ball, that thing is a dime.
Yeah,
that is a dime piece. The guy could sling that rock, and on the run.
If he gets back to his MVP form from a couple of years ago, it's going to be a tough team to beat.
Oh, for sure. So for me, Atlanta starting 0-2, man, that's going to be a tough way.
Yeah. You
got to get this dub this weekend. If not, freak out, sell your jerseys, and jump on the Cowboy bandwagon. So my next team that I got for you is, I don't even want to say the Bears. It's more of the quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
Panic or slow your roll, Chicago.
For Chicago, I would panic. I think they're going to take a step backwards. Mitchell Trubisky had a really bad game, and they're going to have to do a lot of trickery. A lot of what they did last year, their offense is going to have to revolve around that. I don't know if they can open up the playbook as much as Matt Nagy probably wants to. I think he knows that, and I think it's going to be a struggle. And I don't think that defense is as dominant as last year. Of course, Khalil Mack is going to be a game changer, but I just don't think they're the same team as last year, and it's going to be tough, especially that the division is hard. It looks like it's going to be tough for the season. Green Bay is going to be better. Their defense is better, and they showed it. Minnesota is coming together, and then the Lions, you don't know what you're going to get with them, but
yeah,
it's just going to be a hard road for Mitchell Trubisky, and I don't think he's going to progress.
The thing about the Lions is they're season spoilers.
Yeah.
You know they're not great, but they'll definitely give you that loss that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's a tough division. It's always, no matter who the matchup is, it's always a tough game. It's a grind out black and blue type of game. You never know who can beat who in that division, and that's what it's going to come down to. Whichever team can control that their division opponents and get those wins. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky threw 1 interception. His passer rating was 62.1. That is awful.
What was his completions? He was like 22 of 45 or something.
Yep.
It was like 22, 44, like, I don't know.
Threw for 228 yards. That is.
And some of those passes, some of those balls were just in the dirt, 5 yards to the left.
Not a first round pick type throw, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not first round type material.
Yeah, I'm hitting the panic button in Chicago, and I'm going to hit it twice because Mitchell Trubisky looks ugly. My last one that I got for you here, you basically covered it. Carolina Panther fans.
Oh yeah.
It's. I think it's the same situation as Atlanta.
Yeah.
The division, like you said, and Cam Newton. So you guys are on the chopping block, man.
Yeah. Ron Rivera, hot seat. It's on fire.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I don't think he's stable. I don't think he's 100%. He's not comfortable like how he was at the beginning of the season. He might not have been comfortable at the beginning of the season also. They haven't performed well, and hey, it could be on the chopping block.
If your fantasy team is busted, then that sucks. But hopefully we can give you a couple pointers on how to pick it up this weekend for week 2. So for me at quarterback, I believe a lot of people do not have Andy Dalton on a roster. So I would definitely consider picking up Andy Dalton this weekend. They are playing against the 49ers. Picking up Jimmy Garoppolo might even be a good idea. I'm sure he got drafted, but Andy Dalton had a pretty good weekend. He threw for 418 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not too shabby, and I'm thinking that this game might have some scoring in it. I could see both teams up there 20 plus 25, so I could see that game being a shootout there.
Yeah, and I would also look at having John Ross and Giovanni Bernard because John Ross first because Zach Taylor he's their new coach, and it's a spread offense, and they're gonna be if that's a preview of Andy Dalton's season, he's gonna be tossing the ball around all over the field, and it's not like he's an elite quarterback, but he's good enough to make the throws and he could possibly be a good fantasy quarterback that can put up numbers for you. They're going to be I don't think they're going to be winning a lot of games, so they're going to be coming from behind, just getting extra scrap yards, extra yards that can benefit you. And John Ross played really had by far his career game last week, and I think he's their number 1 wide receiver option by far. And yes, the 49ers have Sherman and Kilo Witherspoon. Those are their 2 top corners. But he's going to be in the slot a lot also, because in the spread offense, you're going to have 2 slot receivers. So if he can get in the slot and then win his matchup, I expect him to have a lot, like another 10 targets or so at least. He had 12 targets for 7 catches, 2 touchdowns last week. If he can do, almost as good as that, that's a win in my book. And,
yeah, definitely.
And for Giovanni Bernard, he's going to be catching passes out the backfield. He's going to be getting Joe Mixon's touches because he's injured. He might get limited touches or might not even play this week. So
yeah,
if he's in the game, then expect him to get his touches and his yards.
Definitely a good place to throw him in at a wide receiver too, or even at the flex. And Giovanni Bernard, running back number 2, or at the flex, you're going to get some numbers there. That game should be high scoring, so it's definitely recommended.
Yeah.
For me at wide receiver, I agree with you on the running back end. For me at wide receiver, I'd definitely go to Michael Gallup. I think Dallas going to Washington. I think Dallas is going to rack up some points again, like they did this previous game. Of course, I think there's going to be a little bit more running in this game, but with with Josh Norman there, I think he's going to need some help guarding Amari Cooper. So it's really going to open up a lot of space for Randall Cobb and Michael Gallup. But Michael Gallup has wheels, so I'm not going to be surprised when the guy breaks at least one catch for 50 plus. And he's more than likely going to get a touchdown. I could see him getting a touchdown before Amari Cooper this weekend, only because the fact that Amari Cooper is going to be looking at double coverage for most of the game. Also, in week 1, Michael Gallup was thrown to 7 times, got 7 catches, but he was in 70% of the offensive plays ran by the Dallas Cowboys. Kellen Moore is not afraid to throw the ball, and Dallas is definitely showing that. So Michael Gallup at wide receiver 2 or 3. I mean, wide receiver 2 or maybe at the flex. That'd be a good pickup for the weekend.
I would also like to add possibly picking up DK Metcalf. He had a really good week 1. Russell Wilson already has trust in him, and I think he's going to be Russell Wilson's favorite wide receiver target. And Tyler Lockett's going to be their main focus, but I think DK Metcalf will get plenty of targets. He'll get plenty of catches. He's a good receiver, fast. You can expect him to make plays. So I would not sleep on him in week 2 also.
Yeah. This weekend, I would definitely look at sitting. If you have Aaron Rodgers, this is probably the one week that you might sit him out and pick up someone like Andy Dalton. Only because of the fact that they are playing the Vikings, and the Vikings defense looked pretty damn good this weekend. So, and that offense didn't look very great against the Bears for the Packers. So, might be a good time to sit him this week and pick up someone like Andy Dalton to put up some points for you.
A couple other players you might want to consider picking up would be Jamison Crowder, who was targeted 17 times in week 1. He's going to be a solid pickup. He's going to get you some, especially in PPR leagues, he'll get you some good points. Danny Amendola is always going to be getting targets from Matt Stafford this year. He had 13 from him in week 1. Expect that. I wouldn't expect that to change very much. And anything else you want to add?
If you got anybody on the Patriots team, they are playing the Dolphins, so Tom Brady is definitely a starter. I would even look at Sony Michel. If you got Sony Michel, make sure you have him in your starting lineup, because the guy is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
But hey guys, this is the end of the show. We appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Continue to enjoy the podcast that we are delivering. But most importantly, we appreciate you guys. Please continue to show the love.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will have somebody on the show this weekend. So if you would like to join us this Sunday, let us know. Don't forget, hit the like button. We will see you Sunday live at 9:30.
Yeah.
9:30 from the bar. Speaking out loud.